red polygon, as we call it. You should be inside now anyway. But you get a general idea when this is heading for you. In Cameron at 8:44, Hanover there at 9:10. And then on toward Elevation, which is out of the tornado-warned area by 9:20. Just continuing to monitor any additional reports from the National Weather Service, of which we're not getting any at this point. Certainly, if you're watching us in Milam County, we don't want you sending us tornado reports at this point. We want you in your safe space. This is a fairly well-organized storm. You've got a hook there in the western section of Milam County, which is where we think that tornado is, south of Rogers. So this is now out of Bell County. If you have friends in Bell County, as this tornado-warned storm is moving into Milam County, it's already there basically. And this area west of Cameron is the area of greatest concern for a potential tornado on the ground now. Still not a confirmed tornado, but it's been close. It is a very tightly wound storm system. As you can see, the greens right up against reds. It may not have a tornado on the ground the entire time, but certainly very capable of producing one. And when the greens are right up next to reds there, that means the rotation is tight enough that potentially a tornado could get dropped down to the ground. Let's take you back into the live motion here of our weather graphics, and you can see this is just the current picture of where the rotation is at its tightest. Again, it's still reasonably tight, not quite as tight as it was a couple of minutes ago, but we still have to act as if a tornado is on the ground here for this section of Milam County. Getting an update from the National Weather Service on that warning. I just want to take a peek at what that says before we move on here. And we're just seeing, okay, National Weather Service out of the Dallas area reporting a tornado potentially just south of Buckholz now, based on some of their readings, and they're continuing that severe thunderstorm warning for the broader area, that bigger box in orange. That's what that flashing was that we were just seeing here. Let me put an updated arrival time. Let me get rid of these times here and take you real tight into where the potential tornado is now, moving through Buckholz or just south of Buckholz, right around here. And if this tornado were on the ground, this is the general estimated arrival time in some of the other areas there in Milam County. Pettibone at 8:44, Minerva at 9, and Hoyt at 9:03. And I'll just confirm that with the rotation there and redraw the box just so that you can see where that rotation is, generally just south of the center of Buckholz, moving into those areas, as I mentioned, with some slightly tweaked arrival times there. So certainly a considerable storm system. Let's pop up again the things that you should be doing if you're watching us in Milam County. And in this red box, go to an interior room in the lowest level of your home, covering yourself and your family and anybody with you in your home, including your pets, just to make sure that they are safe as well. Not just getting in that room away from the windows, away from the exterior walls, but heading into the lowest level of your wherever you're living, and then covering yourself with pillows and blankets, all good things that you should be doing. And never try riding out a storm in a mobile home. It is certainly best to evacuate and head out of that mobile home to a sturdier structure nearby. Just getting an updated image there on the potential tornado. Still not a confirmed tornado from the National Weather Service. They were seeing some signs of potential debris lofted in the air, but not conclusive enough evidence that this tornado is on the ground. Let me just back up the track a little bit just to get a better idea on the direction that this is moving here. And then take it down to the south and east, and you can see some updated arrival times. If you are in or near these cities and towns in Milam County, you want to be in your tornado safe space right now. Pettibone at 8:47, Tracy at 8:55, Minerva about 9:01 for the arrival of a potential tornado, and then Milano at 9:15. Just searching with the National Weather Service to see whether we're getting any additional information regarding this tornado, and so far we are not. Let's look at some of the damage that this storm has caused when it was moving through other sections of Bell County on its way into Milam County. You can see all these dots here representing hail reports. Hail of 1.5 inches in diameter in Rogers. That hail likely spilled over into at least parts of Milam County, and that can do considerable damage. So we're not just worried about a tornado threat in Milam County, but a hail threat as well. Walnut-sized hail in Bell County, and then another report just west of Temple of golf ball-sized hail. That was at 8:05, so about 40 minutes ago, and it's all part of the same storm that's been working its way through Lampasas County, actually, in our KXAN viewing area, and then through Bell County, and then now into Milam County. And let me take you back live to the current radar picture. Here is the supercell thunderstorm that we're watching. This is the area right here of potential rotation where we could be looking at a potential tornado on the ground. We have to say potential because until we get confirmation, we don't know for sure, but we have to act like the tornado was on the ground. And then if I draw out the track of where this potential tornado would go, generally moving off to the south and east, and then some updated arrival times. And I know I'm saying some of the same cities and towns again and again, but we really want to hammer home that those of you in Pettibone, Minerva, I mentioned Tracy, say northern sections of Tracy, even a little bit of Sharp, you want to be in your tornado safe space right now. We do still have a tornado watch for the entire county of Milam County until 11 o'clock tonight. So you, in theory, have had several hours of preparation time for the potential for tornadoes in Milam County. And now, indeed, the threat is higher with a tornado warning and not just a watch. It is the only storm in the entire KXAN viewing area that we're watching. So once we get this one to move through Milam County and out of here, then we will be storm-free for what we expect will be the rest of the night. We're just getting an update from the National Weather Service now. I'm going to just read it to you here. Still looking at a storm capable of producing a tornado. It was near Buckholz, 8 miles west of Cameron, moving southeast at 30 miles per hour. So no changes to the track of this potential tornado as we watch it move through the Buckholz area toward, or if not just south of Cameron. So it's a general track east-southeast, 30 miles per hour. If you're in Cameron or south of Cameron, even close to Rockdale, you should get in your tornado safe spaces now as this potential tornado is moving in your general direction too. The rotation itself, which was a little bit tighter a bit ago, say 10, 15 minutes ago, it has broadened somewhat. It's not quite as impressive. It's not quite as tight, which would indicate to us at least some weakening, even though a tornado may still be on the ground between Rogers and Sharp, southwest of Buckholz. But certainly these things can cycle. They can weaken a bit and then tighten back up again and drop a tornado down on the ground once more. So certainly enough signs that the National Weather Service has not yet decided to cancel this tornado warning early for western Milam County. Cameron right now, the worst of the rotation where the potential tornado is southwest of you. You can see where Rogers is, and right along 190 here. It's looking south of 190, north of Sharp, where we would be seeing some of the tightest rotation, and that continues to move off to the south and east. Let me get back to the radar picture and show you kind of the broad view of what you're looking at, as well as an update. Oh, okay, this is not good as far as hail is concerned. The hail risk looks to have increased now for the Buckholz, Cameron, Sharp area. Let me put a query, potential now golf ball sized hail in the Buckholz area. This would be heading for Cameron and Minerva as well, just a little north of the area of most significant rotation. So we're watching this significantly here as we check the broader view one more time. You're seeing that we're not seeing any other significant storms out there at all. So this is the only one to watch. I know I'm covering your show, and I certainly I'm apologetic in some ways for that, but we've got to take the lives of our viewers in Milam County seriously and keep them as safe as they possibly can. Let me take you back to the live picture on the velocity, which is how we can best determine where a potential tornado is. And it is not quite as clear as it once was where the tightest rotation is. And I'll draw a broad circle where the reds meet the green, and it's not quite as tight as it was before. There could be a tornado embedded in this particular area, although because the tightness of the red versus the green is not as close together, a broader rotation would tend to indicate that maybe the storm system itself is weakening a little bit. The supercell not quite as strong as it once was. Let me update the arrival times and shift the track off a little bit to the south and east here. You could see updated arrival times of at least the rain just before you get the potential tornado. Hanover, there at 8:57. That would be just rain for you on that side, but Milano at 9:10, elevation at 9:20. It does look like the core of the hail may still clip Cameron, but at least the worst of the tornado threat should stay a bit south of at least the center of Cameron right now. Just looking at some other reports from the National Weather Service to see if we can get any better idea whether this is causing any damage or whether we're getting any additional damage reports from Bell County, and we are not. The rotation as we go back to the live picture here is still a little more broad than we would expect for a tornado-producing storm. I say that optimistically. We still have to act like this mess of green and red may still be producing a tornado south of Buckholz, near, if not just north of Sharp and northwest of Tracy, as this moves off to the south and east, still causing some problems, at least wind damage and a hail threat, even if not a tornado threat. But this is still a tornado-warned storm, as you can see. And then we widen the view out and we continue to track it as it moves southeast at about 30 miles per hour. You can see some of those arrival times again. Let me just switch kind of the order that we're doing things here and then just zoom in tightly on the storm and talk about some of the cross streets involved for those of you watching in Milam County or have friends or family in Milam County. We're basically looking west of 77 and south of 190 in this general area here. And I'm going to draw a loose box where we're expecting that at least the potential is there for a tornado to be on the ground. So south of the center of Cameron, west of Minerva, northeast of Sharp is where the tightest rotation is within this storm that could potentially be bringing a tornado to the ground in Milam County. I know it's a little rudimentary, my drawing here on the spot, but I'll do my best to try and illustrate where the threat is for those of you watching us in Milam County. So bringing things back to big picture, it's a tornado warning in Milam County, radar indicated, which means no confirmation that a tornado has been on the ground, at least in Milam County. There was an early signal when this tornado warning was first issued that there may have been some debris picked up in the air, although the data that we look at from a radar perspective was a little bit inconclusive there. But we still have this tornado warning until 9:15, and we're going to stay on the air with you until 9:15, or if the storm weakens significantly and quickly enough that they're able to drop this tornado warn storm, then we will get off the air as soon as we can. But we want to stay on as long as possible for those of you in danger in Milam County. It's this notch area right here, north of Sharp, south of Buckholz, southwest of Cameron, where we're looking at a potential tornado on the ground. It would be traveling southeast, roughly 30 miles per hour. It's heading for 77. It may arrive just north of Rockdale if it is indeed a tornado on the ground, and we have to act like it is as it continues to move off to the north, to the southeast, I should say. The rotation still broadening out, not nearly as impressive as it was, where it was much more likely a tornado near Rogers, if not just south of Rogers and just west of Buckholz. But for right now, We're going to continue to act like it's a tornado potentially on the ground until this tornado warning gets canceled early, if it indeed does that. Still a broad area of rotation north of Sharp, south of Buckholz, and southwest of Cameron. For those of you watching us in Tracy, west of Minerva, even in Cameron, really, Buckholz, Tracy, even in Sharp, I would stay in your tornado safe places right now as we watch this potential tornado moving through sections of Milam County. And certainly Milam County, no stranger to tornado warnings so far this early spring season, as we're really only getting going with our severe weather season here in central Texas that usually peaks as we get into late April and into May. Let me give you an updated arrival time on, we'll call it the heaviest rain before the tornado threat even gets to you. Hanover, heavy rain about to begin here in less than a minute. Milano at 9:09, elevation at 9:19. And you could see that we're still looking at basically the tornado near Sharp, if not northeast of Sharp, south of Cameron, and just west of Minerva now. Let me clean this up a little bit for you, and then show you the tight view, and then give you back to just the live view now. So we're no longer looking at a loop. We're looking at what the radar looks like live. And in this area right here, we could get some potentially significant hail. And that has been reported to be as big as golf ball size as this storm was moving through, as it was moving through Bell County. And then this area here is where we have a potential tornado on the ground moving southeast at roughly 30 miles per hour. Still no additional indications from the National Weather Service either way as far as additional concern or optimism for this storm. You can see it as a tornado warning until 9:15 for this section of Milam County. Certainly not all of Milam County included in the tornado warning, but we're looking at this area in red as the tornado warned section of the storm. Hail size estimated about walnut size at this point, which is an improvement over what it looked like a little bit ago, where we were estimating golf ball sized hail for this section of the storm. The hail core seems to be weakening a little bit. The rotation seems to be weakening. All good things as we want this storm to continue to fade in intensity as it moves through Milam County. But it's in this red box, as we keep saying, where we want you in your tornado safe place. If you haven't an idea where that is just yet, or you're just joining us in Milam County, interior room of the lowest level of your home, away from exterior walls, away from windows, away from anything that can blow in from outside, and a sturdy part of your home, preferably surrounded by piping and plumbing, may give you a little bit of added structure to keep you and your family safe. You get your whole family, your pets in with you, cover yourself with a pillow and blanket, and ride this thing out, and we'll continue to let you know when areas become more safe as this storm moves off to the southeast. I'm going to re-query that area of potential hail because it does look like the hail core is now strengthening again within this section of the storm. And there we're looking at, okay, it's now back up to golf ball sized hail again, potentially there between Cameron and Rockdale. They're right up 77. So that hail would be crossing 77 here pretty soon, as it may just be doing so now, although potentially weakening back down to walnut size as it does so. This storm has actually had a history of producing damage. You can see some of the storm reports there on your screen. All of those dots and gusts of wind, as it looks like, are wind or hail reports as this storm was moving through Bell County with about 1.5 inches hail there in Bell County. Certainly enough to do damage as it arrives in Milam County. We still have a tornado watch for Milam County. It's the only county left here in Central Texas where we have a tornado watch. So we'll keep watching out for that. This was the view on one of our cameras that was looking at the storm from a distance, and that view appears to have adjusted southward, so we can't see it anymore. We still have about 17 more minutes left in this tornado warning. And we're going to stay with this storm until the threat disappears for Milam County, where we have that tornado warning right now. As we zoom in a little more tightly here, you can see the general structure of this storm, and it's right here that we could still be dealing with a potential tornado on the ground. If you could repeat that, please. Okay. Understood. All right, so this is the area where we could be seeing a potential tornado moving off to the southeast. I'll put an updated track. That is not it. I'll put an updated track on this as this storm moves off to the southeast at roughly 30 miles per hour. And you can see the area where we're most likely to be getting potential tornado and wind damage. Minerva there at 9:05. I do want to do a little reset for those of you joining us on the CW Austin. We are tracking a potential tornado in progress moving through Milam County now. A Milam County tornado warning continues until 9:15. And those of you joining us here on the CW Austin are now joining our coverage as we track this potential tornado as it moves through Milam County, roughly 30 miles per hour or so. The area I've circled there is the area where we potentially have the tornado. The reason we have to say potentially is because there's no confirmation that this is a tornado that is actually on the ground. And honestly, we're seeing enough weakening in the rotation here that it is looking less and less like a tornado type storm and more of a damaging wind and hail concern of a storm. So we'll just wait for the National Weather Service to see if they can cancel the tornado warning early, as we are seeing some significant weakening there with that storm. They are still continuing the tornado warning, though. Just got a new update here that just came in seconds ago. The potential tornado, although not confirmed, near Rockdale, moving southeast at 30 miles per hour. So some of the similar areas that we've been highlighting here as potentially being at risk. Looks like it would be north of the center of Rockdale, though. They sometimes pick some of the larger cities to mention for a better geographic reference, but Rockdale, the center of town, is not technically in the tornado warning, but north of Rockdale would be the area most of concern for a potential tornado. And if I were to pinpoint it, it would be right here, closer to Minerva, just west of 77, where we're seeing the tightest rotation that continues to move off to the south and east. Let me put another track on that. So Minerva, you've got to be in your tornado safe space right now, as this is moving off to the south and east here at 30 miles per hour. So within a minute or two in Minerva as this storm moves toward you. If I were to extend this tornado warned storm out, could be in Milano by 9:18, although there's no indication yet that the National Weather Service would be extending the tornado warning at this point. Let's open things up and sort of give you the bigger perspective here as we look at the radar for all of Central Texas. All this light green here is just some feedback from the radar and no actual concern for the metro, for our eastern counties, the hill country. You're in great shape too. Really only one county in our KXAN viewing area right now is at risk of a tornado, and that is Milam County. If this storm continues to move to the southeast and maintains a tornado threat, we could be looking at Lee County being at risk next. But this tornado warning until 9:15, a Doppler radar indicated tornado warning, suggesting there's enough spin in the atmosphere that could potentially drop a tornado down to the ground, but no guarantee that one is near the ground. A little bit more in the way of rotation, tighter together now than what we saw a couple of minutes ago, so that's still somewhat concerning. We were seeing a big improvement in where the rotation was 5 minutes ago, but now it seems like it might be tightening again here to the north of Rockdale, northeast of Tracy, to the west of Hoyt, and south of the center of Cameron is where we're most concerned about that rotation. So right here. So I got to move my little illustration just a little bit to adjust for where I believe the strongest rotation is. So let me just do that for you now here as we continue to watch this potential tornado moving closer to Minerva, west of 77. And this is the area of greatest concern that I see it right now. I'm not getting any additional reports of damage from Milam County. If someone in our newsroom can contact emergency officials in Milam County to see whether they're getting any damage reports, that would certainly be useful to determine some of the severity of what they're dealing with in Milam County, where we still have a tornado warning until 9:15. So another 11 minutes for you in Milam County. We have to act like a tornado was on the ground. So we've got to do the things that keep both ourselves and our family and our pets safe. And if you're just joining us in Milam County, here are the things that you need to do to stay safe. You want to be in an interior room at the lowest level of your home. Cover you, yourself, your family, your pets even, with pillows, blankets, and if you have a bicycle helmet or a kid's bike helmet, go ahead and grab that too if it's within grabbing distance, and take that with you and put it on your head to protect your head. Leaving a mobile home for a sturdier structure, absolutely a great idea. Let me bring you back to the live picture of the velocity, which is basically what we look at when we're trying to figure out where a potential tornado is moving through Milam County now. And it appears like that strongest rotation would be near, if not just south of the center of Minerva. So if I pause the map here and then move it a little bit to the south, I'll remove that circle. And it looks to be right around here that we could have the strongest rotation. So right on top of 77, near or just south of the center of Minerva, and just northwest of 79. Even if you're not getting a tornado, you're certainly getting very heavy rain and potentially some large hail in this area too. Let me pop up the hail tracker here. And that hail has potentially shrunken in size just a little bit as it moves toward Milano, but noticeable hail nonetheless. We'll do a query on that, potentially walnut-sized hail between 190 and 77 and north of 79. Northeast of the center of Rockdale is where you're looking at here. So I'm going to continue to track this potential tornado moving through Milam County. No signs from the National Weather Service yet on whether they're extending or just allowing this tornado warning to expire. The tornado warning itself continues until 9:15. There was the rotation earlier just to the north and west. It is now located basically along 77 between Rockdale and Cameron. If you drew a line a third of the way up from Rockdale to Cameron, this is the area where we're most concerned about a potential tornado, right on top of 77 there. And it's moving off to the south and east. So those of you within this tornado warning red box are at most risk for a potential tornado where you are, near and south of Minerva, northeast of the center of Rockdale, north of 79 is the area I'm most concerned with potential rotation there. You can see we've drawn the area of most concern. So we're looking, okay, I'm just seeing from the National Weather Service, the rotation is weakened, still a supercell with severe potential, so we're going to replace the tornado warning with a severe thunderstorm warning and continue to monitor any tightening of the rotation. So that is good news that soon this tornado warning will be replaced by a severe thunderstorm warning, which is a fantastic development for us as we look at still the potential for large hail, right now estimated at walnut size, but potentially up to golf ball size, as we have had that type of report before as the storm was moving through Bell County. So producers and directors, beware. We're going to be jumping out of our tornado warning coverage here pretty soon. We're turning our folks over on KXAN to their programming soon as they change this tornado warning to a severe thunderstorm warning. But for right now, it maintains a tornado warning for this section in red in Milam County for a potential tornado on the ground until 9:15. Still a radar indicated area of concern, not radar confirmed, not seen by anybody at this point, and that is the way we prefer it. We would certainly hope that even after all of this coverage that there is no tornado in Milam County today. Certainly that is how things work sometimes. You get a warning for a potential tornado, and sometimes they're not on the ground. But we've got to act like this one's still on the ground potentially until the National Weather Service drops the tornado warning and exchanges it for a severe thunderstorm warning, which is what they've told us they are planning to do. But this is the area of tightest rotation, still near Minerva, or if not just south of the center of town, right along 77, north of Rockdale, north of 79. If you're watching us in Tracy, we think you're in a good spot that you can get out of your tornado safe places now. Sharp, you as well. Buckholtz too. Cameron, I think you're too far north to be concerned with this potential area of concern and potential rotation. So if you're watching us in Cameron, you can get out of your tornado safe places as well. But in Minerva, Rockdale, I would continue to shelter in place as this area of rotation continues to not be super impressive, but certainly to still be there and on radar. So we'll be continuing to watch that until they indeed do drop this tornado warning here from Milam County. There's the big picture. Let me give you an even bigger picture of the tornado warning, and there's the new information from the National Weather Service that they are, well, at least they've issued a new severe thunderstorm warning until 10. Let me ask them if they are going to drop the tornado warning early. Let me just type this out. We have a great way to communicate with the National Weather Service where we can ask them questions. They can tell us their responses, and we can get some real-time feedback from them. But sometimes you can type and not talk at the same time, and I can only do one thing at once, as my wife will tell you. So severe thunderstorm warning continues until 10 o'clock now for the area just east of that tornado warning. And this is the area in orange where we're concerned. Sorry, what was that? Okay, so we've reached out to some of the folks in Milam County, and we're not getting any initial reports of damage in Milam County just yet, which is great. That tornado warning is still there, though, so we'll keep watching that until they drop it here, which should be in 4 minutes. I have not heard whether they're going to cancel it early or whether they're going to let it ride. I do want to say that this severe thunderstorm warning that they've just issued carries a tornado warning tag, a possible tornado tag, which means that while it is a severe thunderstorm warning, there still may be the potential for a tornado wrapped up in it. For those of you now in this severe thunderstorm warning in Milam County, you want to follow some of the same precautions that you were doing in the tornado warning. That is to stay indoors, away from windows, avoiding electrical appliances, and waiting 30 minutes after the last rumble of thunder before you get back outside. So here's the big picture. Only one storm still. We still have a tornado warning until 9:15. That's 3 more minutes. We're going to stick with it until 9:15 because I think they're just going to let it expire rather than canceling it early. Still, this storm carries a threat for wind, large hail, and this severe thunderstorm warning does mention the potential that a tornado still may be a concern there, although less of a concern than during a tornado warning. But Gauze, right along 190, you're going to get some wind, some heavy rain, the potential for you to get some hail in the mix there as well. This severe thunderstorm warning for that section of Milam County continues until 10 o'clock this morning. I did just get word from the National Weather Service. They are going to let this expire at 9:15, so they're not going to cancel it early. So we'll be returning to programming here at 9:15, estimating grape-sized hail within this potential tornado-warned storm still. while it has a tornado warning, we are going to stick with it, but just for another 2 minutes now, and then we'll return you to what you were watching on KXAN. For those of you expecting the CW, KXAN News at 9 here on the CW, we're continuing to track this tornado warning until 9:15, and then we'll be able to bring you the latest news of the day.